Welcome to this video review or more of a how-to guide. So in this video I will explain and go through all the options how to mount a Pulsar Core clip-on device on a daytime rifle scope. First of all, I would like to point out that this practice of mounting a Pulsar Core on a rifle scope is not allowed in all European countries. So please check your local legislation if this is even possible in your country. But for those countries where this is possible and where people do hunt with these devices and where they use the Pulsar Core clip-on to transform their daytime scope into a thermal imaging rifle scope, for those of you, I think you will find this video useful, and you will see what are the majority of options on the market how to connect your Pulsar Core to your daytime rifle scope. So I basically will go through three different manufacturers: the original Pulsar adapter, then Smartclip adapter, and Rusan adapter, and all the options they offer, because there is a couple of different combinations how you're able to use these clip-ons. So if we start with an original adapter, this is the most affordable choice. It's been on the market for years, I think since 2015, so 5 years or 6 years already. It's proved and tested, it does work, even though I would say at least in our region it is not the most popular option anymore, because you're able to see it, it's quite bulky and the design is not as nice as with other manufacturers. In terms of functioning, this doesn't mean a lot, but you know, some people put Pulsar Core on a really expensive scopes and they buy other options just due to their design, because they're aesthetically more appealing, not because they would function differently. There are only three options for this original mounts. For the Pulsar Core, they're called DN adapters. And you have to understand that if you see an FN adapter, it's different. It's meant for the Pulsar Forward F455. You will be able to see this in a separate video also. The main difference is that everything is completely the same. The FN only features 4 lugs instead of 2. So 4 pins instead of 2, because the forward units, they have 4 notches instead of 2, like on the Core devices. There are only 3 of them, so the DN42, the DN50, and DN56. These dimensions roughly mean which rifle scope lens diameter do you have, and you see in their manual you see a table. So a DN42 is meant for all the rifle scopes which have an outer diameter of 45.5 all the way to 50. So you cover the wide range of rifle scopes. Then DN50 goes from 51.6 all the way to 59. And then 56, this one here, goes for rifle scopes which has an outer diameter of the objective bell from 60 to 65. Now, why is this important? Because when you have a 56mm rifle scope, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has always the same outer diameter. I have 2 scopes like this with me here. So let's start with Steiner. This is the Ranger model, 3 to 12 by 56, a really very popular scope. And if you check the diameter, you can see that the diameter here on this scope is 63.5. I have to measure it like this. 63.5. So, okay, 63.5. With an original mount, with an original this adapter, you know that if it writes 56 on it, and if you check the table, it will fit on this scope. But let's see for another scope. Let's say a Zeiss Victory V8, 2.8 to 20 by 56. It has the same 56mm objective lens, but the outer diameter is not the same. If you measure this one, you will see it's 62mm. So 1.5mm less in diameter. So with an original solution, this is not a problem. In both cases, you buy the DN56 and it will work. But if you go to Smartclip or Rusan, then you have to buy size-specific adapter. Let's say for the size, this one will be the right one, the 62, because the size has an external diameter of 62 millimeters. For the Steiner, this one, 63.5, would be the right one. So this is the main difference between the original and all the others. What is also different is that with the original you get these plastic inserts which are different for each diameter. So like we measured, for the size you would need a 62 millimeter inserts. You get, I think, 6 or 8 of them inside of different sizes. And for the Steiner you would need this one, 64 will be the right one. And you put this in, then you put the objective bell of the scope in, yeah, like this, and you just clamp it and it works. The original adapter is also meant to stay on the scope at all time. So when you're not using your thermal clip-on on it, they give you a special lens cover which goes here and which covers the lens against dust and environmental elements. Now you can understand that some people don't wish to have this on their scope at all time, and a lot of customers are also, at least in our shop, came back and said that when they were putting this on and off during nighttime, they lost the plastic inserts, especially on the raised heights, on when you're 4 meters high on a observation platform for hunting, and if this falls somewhere down in the grass, it's really hard to find it. So this is also one of the reasons why the original adapter is not as popular as aftermarket adapters are, even though it's really, really affordable. We are talking about 100 euros or a little bit more of an end user price. If I go to Smartclip, they are the youngest in this group. They're producing, I think, this adapters for the last 4 years, something like that. And basically they're one of the most elegant on the market. Really nice design, probably the best fit and finish, but normally the reason for it is also that they're one of the most expensive ones. They're also the only ones that feature this clamping mechanism, which doesn't go back towards you, but it goes from left to right. Some people say that this is a big advantage if you want to check how you are able to see through the clip-on device with your bare eye. So when you take it down from the scope, you're able to put this to your eye, and there is no danger that you will stab yourself with this lever. Let's say like this. You see, if you go towards your eye, it can be dangerous. What's also advantage of Smartclip is that they have rubber here inside, and this is the reason why they are called the silent adapters. So the S means for silent. When you put it on, there is no click because of this, there is no noise because of this rubber. I can show this on size. So also, as you're able to see, the clamping is really, really precise. It's really, really nice. And aesthetically, it looks nicer than the original one. What's also a big plus, it's not meant to be on the scope at all time. So it's meant to be on the night vision clip-on or thermal clip-on, and you always put it on and off only when you need it. So now you're able to see with Smartclip, all the adapters start with the same thread. This is a standard thread which was at the beginning meant for DEDAL devices, and then you have this reducing rings or converters, which you can buy different ones for different devices. So you buy a different one for, let's say, Pulsar Forward, you buy a different one for Pulsar Core. This one is the Pulsar Core converter, PCM52. We have a separate video about it. It's very special because it's not meant to be taken down from the Pulsar Core. Even if you see, it has screws inside. So when you put it on, You see, it's loose. But when you turn the screws, it becomes completely fixed. The reason for it is that especially those who are using Pulsar cores on a really hard-kicking calibers, let's say on 9.3 by 64 or 9.3 by 62 or 300 Win Mag or 375 Holland, because you know that this thermal clip-ons are really robust, so you're able to use them on any kind of caliber you wish. What it happens? It happens that wear starts to accumulate here and here because of all the recoil. It doesn't affect any function of the night vision scope, of a night vision clip-on, so the core works normally, and also it doesn't affect the accuracy, so the point of impact doesn't change. But still, what happens time from time, that this adapters, the original one or the Rusan one, they develop some play inside, a little bit of less tightness, so they start to move. And this is the reason why Smartclip did this converter, because when you tighten these screws, it's completely fixed, so no wear or no play can ever develop. Normally this converter is a little bit more expensive than others. It's around 60 to 70 euros, but it fixes a problem which is basically an aesthetic problem, but still it doesn't look nice if you have some play inside. If you're using really hard kicking calibers and if you shoot really a lot. If you go to Rusan, Rusan is producing the same like Smartclip. It's producing a lot of adapters. I think they are by far the biggest producer of these adapters in Europe. I think they produce more than 20,000 adapters per year. And they produce an adapter for each size of a rifle scope you can imagine. I think they have like 60 different sizes. So a different size for every single rifle scope, so that you always get a really tight fit. If you try with the Steiner, so this one is made exactly for Steiner because no other scope has this diameter, 63 by 5. I think, at least I think it is so. And you can see it's a really tight fit. They also feature this additional notch for Picatinny rail if you want to put on a battery or a flashlight or a battery pack for the thermal adapter, or additional infrared illuminator if you have a analog or digital night vision clip-on. All of new Smartclip, this one is I would say previous series, all the new Smartclips also feature the same. So you just put on the Picatinny rail and you have one additional attachment point available. Rusan also has this converter ring. They all start with the same thread for DEDAL devices, and this one is made for Core and DFA 75 devices, but it's different to Smartclip. So this one just clips on and that's it. It's quite tight already. Well, I would need to put it on an adapter that would work. It's quite, you have to apply some force to put it on. So you start with a basic adapter, and then you buy a converter ring or reduction ring so that you're able to adapt this adapter to the core. What is also with all of this clip-on adapters, they all come with tools so that you're able to set the correct tightening force. You see, here is on the manual. Unfortunately, the manual is in German, but what it shows, and they all feature the same. So you have a locking mechanism. You see here, it's lock. So you unlock this screw, and then you have the adjustment screw where you adjust the fit, like this. And when it's okay, you just try it on a scope, like this. And it's easy to feel when it's well adjusted and well set. Then you just lock it back so it doesn't move under recoil or any other changes, like this. Okay, so if I do a short summary, the original adapter, it's really affordable, and you can use it. There are only 3 adapters, and you can use it with really all the sizes of riflescope objective bells between 45.5 and 65.6, so in between. The downside is it looks, it's a little bit bulky, and you can always lose the plastic insert, which can then be a little bit problematic. Then you have the Smartclip, which is really nicely made, nicely designed, great fit and finish. It also has a converter which solves all the problem with wear if you're having a really hard kicking rifle. The downside is its price. And normally when you buy the adapter, it's only suitable for one scope for one dimension. Rusan, on the other side, it's the same. So one dimension for one scope. It's a little bit less expensive than the Smartclip, and I think it's produced in more exotic sizes. I would say Smartclip produces around 50 different dimensions, then the Rusan is already producing 60 or 70 different dimensions. The only thing what I didn't mention is with the Smartclip and with the Rusan, in both cases when you put this converter rings or reduction rings in the adapter, the thread is really fine, and you have to make sure that it's tightened correctly, so you adjust the positioning right, and then you have this ring in between with which you just tied the whole setup together. With I will do it like this. With Smartclip, you just tie it by hand, and then you lock it with this hexagonal screw like this, and you're set. With Rusan, it's a little bit different. You have this inner ring, and you get a special key with it so that you tighten it like this. Yeah, I will show you. You just do it like this, and you tighten it, and it will stay stable. These converter rings are interchangeable because the thread on Rusan and on Smartclip adapters is the same. So you will see many cases when these converters from Smartclip are used on Rusan adapters, and you will see also many cases where Smartclip adapters are used with Pulsar reducing rings. So both of these two, all of these combinations between Rusan and Smartclip, they work interchangeably. Thank you for watching. If you have any additional questions, please check our other videos. We have a separate video for this Smartclip converter, because I think it was quite a big improvement for all the core users. And we also have blog posts, and we have many additional informations about this topic. If there is something what you're not able to find, please send us an email, and we will be glad to answer any question.